Hello everyone, welcome back. Here I am, sitting in the spot. My hair is kind of clean, perhaps not. It felt clean. And today I kind of feel a little bit better, I guess. I think so at least. I might have overcooked my pizza. I'm starting them again. It took like 10 seconds earlier than it's supposed to be. Maybe I did the correct math and I have a wonderful pizza here. Let's see. Okay. I think I nailed it. Sadly, this is the only seafood available for me. Well, we do have the pirogues. Gorbis pirogues. But it ain't fun. It's like a dry mess with some meat inside of it. Also, I kind of want to address some comments I got yesterday about me, mainly on my military order, on my army rejected me video. I got some very long and rage baiting comments, and it's raging me because I've heard it like 100 times a bit. Get a job. Start as a fucking shit cleaner or something. Don't aim for the jobs that I'm qualified for. Basically, they're saying to me. Also, they don't. Also, they don't know that I'm studying as well. So it's like, how do I explain this to everyone, past, present, and the future? It's impossible. commented it on X as well, saying that I would never have a shit job. Apparently that is something that people expect you to do. Is that the way they fuck up your life? Do you take a shit job so they can feel better about themselves? I wonder. Usually when I eat in the morning, that's when I like starting to feel bad again. Because my blood is not fighting the virus or whatever. So it's fighting the virus in the food, I guess. So we'll see if the virus takes over again. Or if I'm good to go. Well, the weirdest shit happened yesterday. When I was going back from school to my sleeping space, I got some vibes, bad vibes at the central station. Also when I went up to the clergy at Pressbyrån, because I wanted to ask if they had lottery tickets, because I got some new ones from someone. And they said he said we don't take it here, before I even asked him, so that's kind of weird. Also got a new assignment yesterday. I'm making a lighthouse from reference. With finished textures available. Jag ska nog dra packing här så. And we'll make texture maps. I'm curious about that. Turn on the brightness a bit so it doesn't overheat. There we go. I think I'm back. Sorry for that. Sorry for that, my friends. Sorry for that. I hope you can see me clearly. I'm disconnected from the Wi-Fi, so I'm on the mobile network. And I put on low power mode, so still have overheat issues, so I have 30% in this one. Interesting. Oh shit, hello man. Stream, hi. What is that? Would you get a D down by Jim Carrey? I don't know, man. What do you mean by that? I have no idea what you mean by that. Would you get down by Jim Carrey? I don't know. I watched him since I was a kid, so I would say I was kind of a fan, I guess. In my personal life, I don't really enjoy being around very like some of the characters that Jim Carrey plays, like high energy all over the place. So it's kind of drains my energy, to be honest. Him as a person probably would be cool. I've seen this when I started painting. It was looked pretty awesome. Kind of looks like Squidward, I guess. A bit. Kinda like this, because I don't get stuck in my teeth.
Miami, where I've actually built a lot of great buildings with the Desert family and some others. We've had tremendous success in Miami, from towers to Sunnyhouse Beach.
Yeah.
It's, four beautiful buildings right on the ocean. The Trump Grande, with the little E at the end for a little, class it up a little bit. Trump Grande and the 700-acre Doral. It's a tremendous country club. It's actually the most successful country club.
This is just us talking about today.
And I couldn't care less about building units when you're president. Who the hell wants to build units? Building units all my life. I don't want to build units, but they gave us permission to do it.
That's crazy.
But today is
Wow.
a tremendous honor. I'm the first American president to invest in future investment initiatives. First one. That's very always.
Wow. Future Investment Institute initiative.
And I want to thank Mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, for being here. Thank you very much, Francis, wherever you may be. Hi, Francis. And thank you for the endorsement when I ran. I was very appreciative. Along with the Mayor of Miami Beach, Stephen Miner. Stephen, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And numerous American business leaders, some of the biggest business leaders actually anywhere in the world, many distinguished guests from the Middle East, and in particular the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, a special place with special leaders.
I hope I get to go to Saudi Arabia. I want to go.
And including FII Institute Chairman and Governor of the Public Investment Fund, which is a seriously big fund. Yasser, I see you there. Stand up, Yasser. Everyone knows Yasser.
Go to Yemen. I'm an analyst.
Great guy.
Go to Yemen.
Great person.
Well money.
Finance.
How about that?
Minister Mohammed, thank you very much. Thank you, Ray. Thank you very much. Good to see you again. That's pretty good finance minister of that part of the world. That's not bad. Other parts of the world, not so good, but that one is good. And many other senior government leaders. I also want to recognize the kingdom's ambassador to the United States, Her Royal Highness Princess Rima. Very popular.
Will I wear the traditional garb?
Very popular.
As long as it wasn't seen as disrespectful, I'd love to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Sitting next to Elon. Wow, that's... You couldn't do better than that, huh? As well as my own special envoy to the Middle East, who's really done a fantastic job. Steve Whitcroft, thank you, Steve. He's been busy. And Michael Waltz is here. Where is Michael? Michael's been so busy. They've been going back and forth and back. And
Can't delete it for
a
some
woman
reason.
who is just
Well, maybe I
voted the
deleted it, but
most powerful woman anywhere in the world. No, I'll go with... I'm going to go with Princess Rima, but she was voted the most powerful woman anywhere in the world. Susie Wiles, thank you. Most powerful woman, that's pretty good. We have to talk to you about that, Susie. It's pretty good. And also, we all know Jared Kushner, a very special guy. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jared. And Elon Musk. He's been making a little news lately, hasn't he, though? Very positive news. Stand up, Elon. He's a great guy.
Just recently had another kid.
We did a little show last night. I heard the...
oh my god, the corner piece. Fuck yeah, I love the corner pieces.
Sean Hannity is fantastic. A fantastic man. Fantastic
Extra-
guy. He did a show and
Extra toffee on
being
it.
on the show with you.
I love this flapjacks because of the toffee.
Business leaders from all across the nation,
It's like the
all
only
around
reason I
world
buy
who
it,
want
because it reminds me
to build
of
the future, push
ice
boundaries,
cream
unleash breakthroughs,
they have here.
transform industries, and make a
called
fortune. You wanna make
nougat,
a fortune. Most of you have
Nugger.
already made a fortune. I don't want to say
and
there's no better place on earth than
basically it's like a
current
toffee
and
covered
future United
vanilla
States
ice
of
cream
America
with
under a certain president named Donald J. Trump.
nougat
I think that
center. And I love the
they're saying that November 5th,
toffee flavor on
Election
the
Day, 2024 will go down as one of the most
ice
important
cream,
days
and
in the
it
history of our
basically tastes
country.
exactly
They
like this.
said in 129 years, the most consequential election. I don't know if they're right about that or not, but sounds good. I wanted to see if I could get a couple of more years tacked on, but I figured the fight wasn't really worth it. 129 is a lot. And as of January 20th, 2025, the dark days of high taxes, crushing regulations, rampant inflation, flagrant corruption, government weaponization, oh, I know about weaponization, and total incompetence will be gone forever.
34
Gone
felonies.
forever. Because the United States is back and open for business, and the
H1
golden
is on the
age
top
of
floor.
America has officially begun. You see
The roof
that?
terrace yesterday.
Since my election,
Took a break
America's
and went to
economic
get some air.
engines
And
have come
it was
roaring
pretty
back to
pleasant
life in
outside.
just a very short period of time. Think of it from
I think there was
November
like
5th,
a
the progress that's been made has been
crow
amazing.
variant
The
bird.
Nasdaq is up nearly 10% in just
Jumped
a
up
few
to me and
months.
looked at me.
And,
Can I have some?
it's a lot.
So I gave him
Dow
a
Jones
bit
Industrial Average is up
of the flapjack and he enjoyed it, I guess. I guess he came back for more. So I gave him another time. And then he crawled at me 3 times and then flew away.
Forefront of everything, and one of them is crypto, and Miami seems to be the
It's
center of the action,
$96,000.
come to think of it, and maybe it'll stay there. Business optimism skyrocketed 42 points. Think of that in a single month, the most in history by far. That's the biggest increase in history by not even close. The ISM index of manufacturing activity surged into positive territory for the first time in many years. Amazing. And it was just announced, this is an interesting one, I didn't realize it was that bad for so long, but it was just announced by one of the nation's most historically accurate and respected pollsters, Rasmussen, that the number of Americans who believe our country is on the right track now exceeds those who think it's heading in the wrong direction for the first time in 20 years. Can you believe that? 20 years.
That's crazy.
And this is really a seismic
Not surprised, though.
27-point swing from just before the election. That's nobody's ever seen anything like that one, yes, sir. I wanna tell
Nobody's
you.
seen it.
That's a big one. The best and most successful business leaders on earth are now racing to invest in the United States. Since November, DeMac has announced plans to invest $40 billion in the U.S., creating at least 10,000 jobs. SoftBank has announced investments of between $100 and $200 billion, creating at least 100,000 American jobs. Oracle and OpenAI and SoftBank are now collectively committing $500 billion to keep the United States on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence.
Oh, that's
So many
Stargate.
more. I mean, so many companies that want to come to the White House and have a little news conference all the time.
Scam Altman.
What did you just announce
Yeah.
it? But they want to come and I'll do that. I don't mind doing that.
That's a good
Say
one.
it
You
again.
want
They
should
wanna
start
go
using
10
that.
billion or more. I'm there.
Yeah.
10 billion or more. But on his recent
clever.
visit to the
Scam
White
Altman.
House, the Prime Minister of Japan announced he anticipates Japanese investments in the United States of well over $1 trillion.
Damn.
We're working on an Alaska pipeline already, which is the closest point to Asia. And as you know, the ANWR, which we started, Ronald Reagan couldn't get it approved, nobody could get it approved. So we could get it approved. I got it approved. Actually, I got it approved twice. I got it approved and Biden ended it. That was a shocker. But we just got it approved again. And we're going to be...
Wow. Wow.
It's probably the largest deposit maybe anywhere in the world, just by itself. It's, they say, of similar size.
I bet he probably could have gotten it approved 3 times if he had to.
But all of this is only happening because of the world-changing results of the 2024 election. We won the House, we won the Senate, the White House, and the Electoral College and the popular vote. In a landslide, we also won all 7 swing states, and all 50 states shifted in the Republican direction for the first time ever. So every state,
Yep.
every single state of the 50 states shifted.
That's
Republican.
crazy, by the way.
It's never happened before.
This is insane.
Either way, it's never happened. And
Has he done
85%
campaigning?
of counties voted for Trump. Think of that. So you have 2,600 counties versus 525. 2,600. Think of that. That's why when you look at the election map after it was all done, the certified map, the whole thing was red.
What does this have to do with anything?
2,600
He's...
versus 500.
How long? How long are we going to go on about this?
Nobody's seen anything like it, actually. So as a result of this very historic victory, investors from all over the planet once again have confidence in America's future and respect for America's leaders. And it's about time we get a little respect. The last administration was the worst and most incompetent in the history of our country, but we are moving quickly to fix every single disaster Joe Biden created and make America stronger and more prosperous.
Cuz in Enigma of Sepia, just log in to claim 2,000 free pulls with ultra-high drop rate. Tons of super anime heroes, such easy to get. Then use the code ENEMYGIRLS777. Obtain tons of gems and experience. Upgrade heroes. And bang, you got an epic team. Lead your team and fight the boss. Crush all enemies like the insects they are. Be the king of this anime fantasy RPG.
Fantasy RPG. Wow. Should get paid twice for that.
Apple Wings of Power bilstyrkt till vissa. Till exempel iPhone 16 Pro Max 256 gig till 15 490, spara 998. Eller AirPods Pro till 2680, spara 300. Kolla in power.se för ännu fler fantastiska deals.
Than ever before.
That's good. That's good. We want America good.
Our first and most urgent mission is to remove the criminals that Biden allowed into our country with the ridiculous and very dangerous
That was the ASMR video.
borders policy. They came from all over the world. They came from prisons and jails. They came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They were gang members. They were drug lords. They came from all over, and they were allowed to come into our country.
I'm critical about how to remove all of them.
In record levels, just like they came in record levels. I want to thank
It's kind of suspicious that everyone
Christie, who was
It's
either
not
a
a
criminal
record. You
or a
gotta
drug
hire
dealer.
Obama back. Bring Obama back. He'll take care of it.
and Tom Homan, you know, they are doing a fantastic job, and the results are incredible. And every country is taking them back. They're sending their criminals to us, and they're all taking them back. We had a little problem with a number of them that ended very quickly. And because some said, we don't really want MS-13 back in our country. But I said, congratulations, you're taking them back.
MS-13. Those are
And
like
by the way,
bad
Europe
guys.
and other places ought to start
Yeah.
also doing that. They better start looking at immigration because it's really hurting Europe very, very badly. And they better get smart. They better get tough before it's too late. We're also working to end the highest inflation in our country's history, all caused because they played with our energy policy and wasted money on the Green New Scam and other things such as that. And they wasted monies at never
Isn't
seen
it
before
interesting that
levels.
we don't have any
If Joe
rebels
Biden had simply
anywhere?
held federal spending at the pre-pandemic levels we had in
Or are they
2019,
criminals
we
actually?
right now we would have virtually no inflation. We're trying to balance the budget immediately, and because of the tariff income, which is really it's already turned out to be amazing, actually. It's
Yeah.
really meant more for bringing countries and companies into our country, but it's
Is the teleprompter
the
off?
numbers are rather staggering because we're the big piggy bank that everybody wants to be. And
They
they
were
can play
like,
games and they can say, well, there'll be retribution,
on sale.
you know, equal this
I would
and that.
never buy
It
this
can't be
otherwise.
equal. All right. But we want to keep it so that we're the big piggy bank, and if we had years like we did the last 4 years, that wouldn't have lasted too long. We're not promising it,
Yeah.
but you know, all of these things could happen. We hope to balance our budget, so I don't want to promise it because if I do and we come about $10 short, the fake news media back there would say, we have breaking news. He did not make it. He did not make it. But we'll get it done very soon. It might not be this year, but it could be this year. Actually, we have a chance of getting it even this year, which people would be shocked at because they were talking about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now. When I took office last month, we inherited the consequences of inflation. That was more than 4 times what it was when I left 4 years ago. Think of that. I left, it was at 1.4%. And the annual government spending over $1.5 trillion more than projected in 2020 alone. $1.5 trillion. But under the Trump administration, all of that is changing faster and more dramatically than anyone ever thought possible. They didn't think it was possible to do what we've done in just a very short period of time. We've accomplished more in 4 weeks than most administrations accomplish in 4 years. On my first day in office, I imposed an immediate federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, and a foreign aid freeze. I signed an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency and put a man named Elon Musk in charge. Thank you, Elon, for doing it.
Yeah, I heard about that. Because like that meme dog. Remember that? Remember the meme dog?
I've seen him last night.
Yeah, that's the government now.
Committed person.
Welcome to the government.
He's a very serious person. And he's a very high IQ people. You know, I like high IQ people. Not all have to be, but, you know, it'd be nice to have some people up there that he's a seriously high IQ individual. Now, he's got his faults also, I will tell you that. But not too many of them, which is now really waging war on government waste, fraud, and abuse. And they're curbing inflation and saving taxpayers billions and billions of dollars every single day. There's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens.
Wow.
And 20% goes to paying down debt because the numbers are incredible, Elon. So many billions of dollars, billions, hundreds of billions, and we're thinking about giving 20% back to the American citizens and 20% down to pay back debt and pay down debt, which is, if you look at value, if it were a real estate balance sheet, the debt is tiny, but we still want to pay it down. It doesn't matter. We don't look at it as
The debt
a piece
doesn't
of real
matter?
estate.
Yeah, bro, it's fake.
We're going to get it down through intelligence,
That's a good idea.
hard work, and as Elon said, a word called caring. You have to care. By doing this, Americans will tell us where there's waste. They'll be reporting it themselves.
What are you guys going to do with your Doge check?
Participate in the process of saving money. So many of the men and women in this room, as an example, they pay tremendous amounts of taxes.
I was going to buy a Trump coin.
And here are just a few examples of where your money was going before I came along. These are just some of the, just taken at random. Oh, there are much worse examples than this. I was just looking at them before the speech, and I can tell you they were much worse. And there are some that are horrible, but I don't want to really say them because they're very, very embarrassing to people. Very, very embarrassing. And they're really something, but you'll be seeing it and you will be reading about it. But just some taken at random, $2 million for sex change operations in Guatemala.
Wow.
$20 million for Sesame Street performances in Iraq. $20 million, that's a lot of money.
For Sesame Street,
I
yeah.
know what it costs to do those things. You get a cast over for $50,000. Give them a couple of bucks tip. That's it, not $20 million. $20 million, that's Gone with the Wind on steroids. $101 million for 29 diversity, equity, and inclusion contracts at the Department of Education. Wow.
This guy.
And we've also canceled all of these, saved all of this money. And again, this is just a small sample. This could go on. I could read them all day. $520 million for a consultant. I want to know, who is that consultant?
Yeah. Who's that guy?
To do ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance investments.
That's
in
making
Africa.
games gay, by the way.
$25 million to promote biodiversity conservation and illicit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in Colombia. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that even means. None of this stuff, everyone's trying to figure out what the hell does it all mean. $42 million for social and behavior changes in Uganda.
Did it work?
40 million's a lot of newspaper ads in Uganda.
Did it work?
$70 million
Are they
for
different now?
research of evidence-based solutions for development challenges.
No?
$10 million for Mozambique medical male circumcision.
What? 10 million for dick snipping?
What does that mean? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia.
Man.
$486 million
You're just making up numbers, by the way?
to the Consortium
Yeah.
for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusion and inclusive participatory political process.
I think Trump should grow a beard.
And $21 million for voter turnout in India. What do we need to spend $21 million for voter turnout in India?
Can you imagine how badass that'd be?
Wow, $21 million. I guess they were trying to get somebody else elected. Wow, we ought to tell the Indian government, because when we hear that Russia spent about $2 in our country, it was a big deal, right? They took They took some
People are
internet
mad about
ads
him.
for $2,000. This is a total breakthrough. $21 million for India elections. $29 million
Did you ever
to
hashtag
strengthen
not my
the
president?
political landscape.
You guys remember that?
Bangladesh. $20 million for fiscal federalism and $19 million in addition to the $21 million for biodiversity conversion in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. We need voter confidence too when you read this list. $14 million for social cohesion.
He's just sitting here telling jokes.
$2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. We don't need to give them money. And in another program, $50 million plus another $50 million for condoms for Hamas. $100 million for condoms. Condoms. Does everybody know what a condom is? For Hamas. $100 million. And these are just some.
Apparently there's a Baltic country whose government is corrupt. Can you believe that? No way. That's the first time?
We're also finding tremendous abuse, waste, and fraud in Social Security. Social Security is
Sorry,
what's
Balkan.
happening.
Excuse
there
me,
is
not
gonna
Baltic.
be one of the great potential scandals
Dyslexia.
in history. On the program there are over 4.7 million Social Security numbers from people from 100 years old to 109. Think of that. Now, over 100, there aren't a lot of people that make it. Hopefully most of the people in this room will make it, but historically, you don't have thousands and thousands of people. But listen to this, 3.6 million people are on Social Security rolls
They're vampires.
from the age of 110 years old
This
to
is what I
119.
see.
Do you think there are really that many?
Yeah.
These people are seriously old.
Well, there was that guy in
But
the
it gets
Bible
worse.
that lived 500 years,
3.47
right?
million, 3.47 million people are on Social
Remember
Security
that guy?
from the age of 120 years old to 129 years old. 3.9 million people
Noah?
are
Methuselah?
on the age of Social Security from 130 years old to 139 years old. Now, the all-time record, I heard, is a woman who was 127 years old. That's the record.
That's a long time.
A woman from a certain country where they have actually people that live pretty long, actually. And
This is not America.
she was 127 years old.
Yeah.
That's pretty old. But we're topping her by millions of people. 3.5 million people from the age 140 to 149 years old. 1.3 million people are on Social Security from the age 150 to 159. And over 130,000 people are on Social Security over the age of 160 years old, okay? 160 years old, okay? Including 1,039 people. Think of it, over 1,000 people between the ages of 220 to 229. And one person between the age of 240 years old to 249. And the record topper, there is one person on Social Security who's 360 years old, which is approximately 110 years older than our country.
Oh my God. We're paying Social Security to Dracula.
So what we're trying to find out, and
Yeah.
what we will find out, is are people being paid from all of these, you know?
No, I'm saying it sounds like the numbers are
10,000
bullshit.
here, 10,000 there. What's going
That's what I
on?
heard.
So we'll find that
I heard
out
all these
pretty
numbers are
easily.
bullshit. It's a
We have
waste of
lot
time to talk about.
computer geniuses. I said to Elon, who are these people that are doing this? The Doge people. I said, who are they? Where do they come from? He said, well, number one, they love our country. Number two, they're really genius at computers. So nobody's going to fool them. When they go in, they see some bureaucrat that's scamming the country.
Yeah.
And they try and talk about, certain computer language. These people say, no, it doesn't work that way. These are people that have a natural ability as,
They're wizards.
brilliant computer people. It was very interesting when he told me that. I said, that's what you need
You
today.
should call them wizards.
But all of these scams have now been terminated. In addition, over the past month, we have effectively eliminated the U.S. Agency for International Development, which was funding much of this lunacy. We virtually shut down the out-of-control CFPB, escorting radical left bureaucrats out of the building and locking the doors behind them. What they were doing was so terrible. Where they were spending the money was so terrible. What we haven't looked at yet, but will be, is does
I went
the money come back
downstairs
to
to
them? Because
get
nobody can be stupid like
pen
that.
yesterday.
They're not stupid.
They
They're
have
smart,
like
actually.
a
And, why are they doing that? Does money come back to them?
a
So
pen
we'll
that I
figure that out pretty
can,
easily, I think, and quickly. But I've ended all of the
drawing
so-called
pen
diversity,
with
equity, and inclusion programs across the entire federal government and
an
private
eraser
sector.
on the back.
I notified every single government DEI officer that their jobs have been deleted. They're all deleted.
They were gone
And it's
when I
interesting,
went
even these
down.
countries, these companies that have tremendous amounts of money. A number of them just announced Walmart. You can believe it. They just announced that they're stopping. And
They're roaching out, man.
these companies are writing off like $220 million. How can you spend that much money no matter what you're doing? If you're teaching something, you're going to have an instructor. You're going to talk. You're going to give them a book. Please read the book. That you find they spent $225 million on that. What's going on? And we were going in the wrong way, and our military was really.
Does Trump watch the
Well, I
stream?
tell you,
I wonder if Trump has seen the stream.
ISIS with our military in 3 weeks.
Probably not, right?
General Raisin Kane he's some general. He's a real general, not a television general.
There's no way.
3 weeks ISIS, and I asked him, and I saw some of his people that were so great, the soldiers. We have the greatest military in the world, but we don't have the greatest top leadership. That's why Afghanistan was such a horrible situation and so embarrassing and so many other things. But when we want to, with proper leadership, there's nobody even close to us. We have the best equipment in the world. We make the best equipment in the world. But we have the best military. But, we never fight to win. We fight to just keep it going forever. And when we fight to win,
That's a new one.
nobody that can even come close to us.
Yeah.
But I was
That's
talking
true.
to General Dan Kane, we call him Raisin Kane.
Oh,
And I
from
was
chicken.
told it would take about 4 years to
From chicken, because of
defeat
chicken.
ISIS, and he did it in 3 weeks. I said to him, what do you think, General? How long will it take, sir? I think we should do it in less than 4 weeks. You're going to have time left over, and he did. He did that. And we were told by the television generals it would take 4 years, so we did it. That's when I went to Iraq. I flew to Iraq, and late at night, the dark of night, all the windows closed, all the lights off in the plane, and Air Force One. And we flew in, and it was pretty amazing. I'll tell you, we were landing, and there were no lights in the plane. Sir, we have to turn off all lights. I said, you mean we spend $9 trillion, or we have to fly in an Air Force One with the lights off? And I went up to the pilot, said hello. And by the way, these guys are like central casting. These are the best-looking human beings. Everybody is like perfect. The most handsome people, the best-looking people you've ever seen with the flat tops and the whole thing. And I was a little concerned because the lights are off, and everything's off, and even the lights in where he was were
What
down.
the
Very
fuck
dim,
does
very,
that have
very
to do
dim
with
all of the
anything?
lights on the fancy dashboards of the plane. Air Force One that they can never finish the damn thing. We're getting 2 of them actually, but we may have to go a different route because it's taking them a long time. We're gonna
Why
get
is the
military.
handsome people the ones that
We're gonna start building. We're gonna get people to start building
get
properly
all the
again in our
jobs?
country because we don't build properly.
Wait, what?
This was Boeing. But we're up there, and I'm looking at these
Oh,
people.
God.
And again, I say they look like Tom Cruise, but better, stronger, tougher. and I like Tom Cruise, but these are better. And they said, are we okay, Captain? Yes, sir, we're fine. But I'm looking out, I don't see any lights and we're landing. And I'm used to that. I like to sit with the pilots a lot and respect the pilots greatly. And we're up there and, we have the computer. I call it the computer voice where it goes 1,900, 800. That's feet. Your feet above ground. So that means you're very low. And I'm looking out and my eyes are pretty good. And I don't see any lights. And the computer goes out. Sounds like an intelligent individual. It goes 1,000. We're 1,000 feet up. It's a 10-story building. There's a big plane. And then it goes 900, 800, 700. I say, Captain, Captain, we don't see any lights. I said, is everything? Yes, sir. Everything's fine, sir. We'll be landing in 3 minutes. And then it goes like 600.
Oh, God. It's
500. Captain, we okay? And then he goes 400, 300, 200. And I'm saying, man, there's nothing out there. And then he goes, boom, perfect. Landing right on this thing. There are no lights on the runway. There's no, I don't know how the hell they do it, but I'm sure as hell glad we had somebody that knows how to fly. But they didn't want to have any lights because they didn't want the enemy. After spending, years and trillions of dollars, we have to land with Air Force One with no lights on the runway. But they were incredible people. And then I got out of the plane and I actually asked my people, I said, excuse me, I was very brave sitting in that cockpit. Am I allowed to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor?
Huvudet fullt av idéer. Skapa en hemsida åt din idé. Strato.
And they said, I don't think
This is
so,
so
sir.
fucking
I thought
ridiculous.
I was extremely brave. But now here's the
What
problem
the
with saying
fuck?
a story like that when you're a kid. The press will say, President Donald Trump wanted to give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor. Headlines, headlines all over. The fake news. We call it the fake news, but we're all wise to them. But it was something, and then I went down, and it was the same thing. I'm standing and I look down, and there's these handsome
He's
people.
almost as humble
Everybody's
as
like
you.
from a movie set.
Yeah.
Good-looking guys. I get down the stairs.
Oh,
What's your
hello.
name?
Thank you
My
for
name is
follow.
Kane.
Call is
What's your first name? They call me Raisin. I say, wait a minute, your name is
We're having
Raisin
another
Kane.
follow.
I love you. I've been looking for you for 5
Thank you,
years. You are the
everyone,
This
or
is
the
what I want.
person
And
that bought me
there
that.
was a
Thanks
general
so
next to
much.
him,
the
there was a
chicken?
colonel, there was a drill sergeant, a master sergeant.
Doesn't
They were all
help
like
me
people. I
at
could
all,
make a movie
but
right
thank
now.
you.
I'd have the best looking people ever. And they were great. And then I went in and, sir, would you like to rest before the bed? No, I don't want to rest. I don't want to rest. I've been resting on the plane. Other than the last few moments, which were
How
quite
many did we
harrowing.
get?
And I said, I don't want to arrest. He was thinking about Biden in advance, Biden would have gone there, he would have rested for days. And then they wouldn't have had a meeting. He'd just go home. No, I said, I don't want to rest. I don't want to rest at all. I want to go. So we
Thank
got
you.
into this bunker. And we had a lot of very good, talented people. And that's when I asked him. I said, I'm hearing it's going to take a long time. No, that's not right, sir. It's not going to take a long time. We'll have it done in 4 weeks. I said, how can you say 4 weeks when in Washington they said 4 years? He said, 4 weeks, sir. We'll hit them left, we'll hit them right, we'll hit them up the center, we'll hit them underground and overground. We'll knock the hell out of them, sir. And I said, why is it that they said so long? He said, because they wouldn't let us fight.
Can you imagine if
We're
I
very
actually
far
did do
away.
the
They want us
podcast
to
with them?
fight for this, from this airport. We're very, very far away, sir.
It'd be like
And they want
7
us to fight
hours.
here. We have many substations out, sub-airports, they call them remote airports, where they build them in the sand, and we have many of them, and I'd use them all, sir. And I would hit them so hard from so many different directions. I said, well, what do you think? He said, you just let me know. And I called him back and I said, go ahead and do it. Are you sure you can do this, General? I said, yes, sir. And he did it actually in 3 weeks. It was over 100% of people that are really hurting the Middle East, hurting the world. And it was done. And I'm telling you, we have the greatest military in the world.
Wow.
But you have to use the right people. But there's nothing like what they were able to do in that case and in other cases wherever I gave them something. It was done incredibly well and you know many of the instances because it's been well reported. But we've also required, and we have a country that's a great country. It's a strong country, but it's a country that's just now gaining its respect back to the levels that it should have never lost. We were being laughed at by the entire world, but we're not being laughed at anymore. But we've also required that all federal employees must once again show up to work. It's a new phenomena, since COVID. Show up to work in person like the rest of us. So it doesn't work when you don't show up. And I see companies now are all going back to it. They're all going back. It's great. I watch some of the big business leaders saying we absolutely are going back. You can't work at home. They're not working.
Damn,
They're
guys.
playing tennis, they're playing golf, or they have other jobs. But they're not
Damn.
working, or they're certainly not working hard. You could never build a company or a country with that. So we have a very strong policy, and if they don't show up to work, they get fired. And we're trying to make our government smaller but much stronger. And we have tremendous bureaucracy, but it's happening. A lot of people are leaving, and in some cases leaving with pretty good offers. You're paid 7 or 8 months and go out, find a job. But some of these people had jobs. They were actually working for us, but they also had other jobs. And those people, in theory, they have problems. I don't know if we're going to do anything about that.
Yeah,
we
who
have other things
knows?
to do, but they were working other jobs instead of working for us.
Yeah.
So they were staying home working, but they were working other jobs, getting paid a lot of money
Yeah.
perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
We offered
Overemployed.
deferred resignation buyouts to all federal workers, resulting in more than 75,000 bureaucrats voluntarily surrendering their taxpayer-funded jobs. A lot of them are leaving because they don't want to be caught having the second job. Some are leaving because they didn't want to be in government any longer, and some are leaving because they didn't want to show up to work. They wanted to work outside of an office, and that's never going to work for anybody, including companies. Companies ought to get smart. You watch these companies where they do that, they start going bad. Nobody knows what's wrong with this company. Well, try getting the people back into the office where they can be cohesive and together. In less than a single month, the Department of Government Efficiency has already saved over 55, this is just a short period of time, $55 billion.
That's a lot of money.
And we're just getting started. That's nothing compared to the numbers.
$55 billion.
First, you got to choose Naruto as your first hero because she can get Sasuke.
I think the problem with working remotely is that we have been brought up in a society where school is the primary thing that you do as a child. So, yeah, if school was remote forever, if you started to have remote schools, you could have remote companies, but until then, I believe that's something that is always a problem.
Upptäck smarter, en smartare charter med Sunweb.
We're ending trillions of dollars in waste, and it'll mean much lower inflation, lower interest rates, lower payments on mortgages, credit cards, car loans, and much higher stock markets. I think the stock market's going to be great. In other words, we will rapidly grow our economy by dramatically shrinking the federal government, and we have to do it. I'm also taking fast action to end the radical left's nation-wrecking crusade against oil and natural gas. Over the past 4 years, the Biden administration cut the number of new oil leases and gas leases by 95%. They slowed new pipeline. I mean,
Wow.
Anyone, Dakota Access, they wanted that one knocked out. The Keystone Pipeline, they wanted that one knocked out. They ended the Keystone. We got the Dakota Access done, but it wasn't easy after they tried to stop it. They slowed new oil
Fuck
and gas
Biden, no
pipeline
wonder gas
construction
is pricey.
virtually a halt. They shut down 38% of active oil and gas rigs in the United States, but they love the wind turbines that go round and
Now,
round and round.
don't bring up the
Wind
birds.
doesn't blow, they got problems.
Do not bring up the birds.
They kill all the birds, they ruin the sight lines, they ruin the plains and the beautiful areas of our country, including the oceans, the lakes. They closed more than 50 power plants, all causing energy prices to skyrocket. You saw that happen. That's what caused inflation.
I've played MMOs all my life. I know boss
These policies
mechanics.
were so
All right.
destructive that despite draining nearly 40% of U.S. strategic
I know the
petroleum
boss
reserve
mechanics.
meant for emergencies, it was meant for emergencies. It wasn't meant for getting a price of gasoline down so that you can win an election. It didn't work for winning the election. Actually, there's so many people
Is he wrong
that
though? Yeah,
are
he is.
driving that it's a very small number. It just had a very small effect, but in the meantime, it takes it down. We'll fill it up fast, but it's at the lowest level. When we made the transition, it was at the lowest level in history ever recorded. The lowest level. Nobody's ever seen it that way. They put it all out because they thought they could keep gasoline prices down a little bit, just go past the election, and after that, they didn't care. And it didn't work because they didn't get elected. I got elected. But the price of gasoline still rose over 35%, and in some cases, at some periods, it was 100% and 125%.
Must be a wind
during
turbine
some
somewhere
periods of
nearby.
time. Under the Trump administration, we have implemented a very different plan. You probably heard of it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill. And we're doing it. The world runs on low-cost energy, and energy-producing nations like us have nothing to apologize for. We have more energy than any other nation in the world, and we're going to use it. And we're going to use it on AI plants. I was telling some of the people that came in that, they're very interested. Everybody's talking about AI. I hope you're right. I don't know. Who knows? Elon, are they right? Are they right in going all? They are all in for AI, but the problem is, to do it, just in our country, you need twice the electricity just to open up and be the top of AI. You need twice the electricity that we have right now in the entire country. If you take all of the electricity, you need more than twice. You need double what we have right now just to fuel this new industry that's growing. I was amazed when I heard that number. They all said, how can we do this? Because, in China and various other places, you can probably get it with the shake of a hand, but in our country you can't. But now you can because
Is that right?
I'm declaring a national emergency in order to get fast approvals, and we're going to have. If you build a plant, you're able to build an electric generating facility right next to your plant, so you'll be making your own. You won't have to count on utilities. You won't have to count on an old grid that could fail, could get hit by something, bad things or good things. But you're not going to have to. You're not going to have to worry about grids. You're not going to have to. You'll build your plant, and you'll build your essentially you'll become a utility in a way. You can build your own electricity. If you want to build extra and put it out and get paid for that, you're going to be able to do that. You can put it back into the grid, but you're going to be able to build with your plant a generating facility. And we're going to get you Lee Zeldin, head of the environment and environmental, the environmental group, various groups, and we've got them unified now, but we're going to get you very fast approvals. And that we get approved so fast, your head will spin. And we're going to get that whole industry started. And we're going to be the head of it. We're leading right now. We have the greatest brain power. We're leading right now. And I expect that we're going to be leading by a lot, but we're going to get you the energy very, very quickly. That would be the one thing that everybody was concerned. How do we have that much electricity when Los Angeles has blackouts and brownouts right now? And there's a lack of electricity, but we're going to get it at levels never seen before. I ended the ridiculous Green New Scam, halting tens of billions of dollars of wasteful deficit spending, and I withdrew the United States from the unfair one-sided Paris Climate Accord, and I ended Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate because it was just insane. I repealed the last, and by the way, if you want to buy an electric car, it's great. If you want to buy a gasoline-driven car or a hybrid, it's great. Whatever the thing happens to be. I heard hydrogen's hot. The problem is when it's not.
Water cars.
Trouble is when that sucker blows up, they don't find the body. So that's one that I said, you know what, let's take a pass on that one. They said it's good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. You find the bodies on trees on the side of a tree. I said, I think we'll pass on that one, right? We're not going to want that one. But you never know. Maybe someday it'll be good. It doesn't sound like it's a good start. I repealed the last administration's very destructive natural gas export ban.
Yeah.
And last week we approved our first new liquefied natural gas export license, and we have literally hundreds of people that want to export. I recently met with the Japanese Prime Minister, Shiba,
Oh, he gave him the hat.
to discuss large increases in American oil and gas exports. They want it so badly. They said we went to the Biden administration, they wouldn't sell it. They wouldn't sell it. Nobody knows what. Biden didn't know why either. They asked him, I don't know. You want to, they did, oh, I didn't know that. But we're going to sell it. And the new project in Alaska is going to feed all of Asia. We're going to take care of all of Asia. We have so much oil and gas. Very few people, like very few countries have, like really actually no country has. I also met with Prime Minister Modi of India, who wants to greatly expand India's purchase of American energy. And my administration has also launched the most aggressive deregulation program of any nation in history. Under my executive order, for every one new regulation added, 10 old regulations have to be eliminated.
Det är 5G. Den högra kartan där är Telia. G5 är det nu. Gustav V. För det var en intressant punkt. Ofta baktalad monark faktiskt. Han hade en lustjakt som åkte upp och ner. Nej, alltså det är 5G. 5G. Vad har jag med det att göra? Nej.
Boka i hotels.coms app för att hitta ditt perfekta ställe.
And you know, in our first term, which was actually an incredible success, we had the greatest economy in history until COVID, and even after that, we did great. The stock market was higher. If you think of it, it was higher after the fact. After we went through that whole thing, it was higher than it was just prior to COVID coming in, which is a pretty amazing thing. But we did a great job on that, but it was a terrible thing for the world. The whole world suffered terribly.
Did I miss
including
anything?
China, including other countries. It was a terrible period of time. But despite that, we did well. But we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I think this time we're going to do even better. We were artificially hurt by COVID. We had to focus on that instead of focusing on. But just prior to COVID coming in, there's never been anything like
No,
it.
Biden's stupid. Yeah.
And even after, we did very well, and especially considering all of us had to do with.
Because he's dumb? That,
It's just unbelievable what happened to him. As part of our effort, I've signed executive orders to keep the United States at the forefront of artificial intelligence and to end Joe Biden's war on Bitcoin and crypto. We ended that war totally. That war is over. They were very hostile to it.
wow.
Because there's so many people on Bitcoin and crypto that just before the end, the SEC came out and they were being very nice. I was so nice to people because so many people were being indicted for no reason whatsoever. Very political group of people. All they did was like indicting people,
That's bad.
but they were being indicted, and many of those indictments were dropped just before the election because they said, wait a minute, there's 100 million, 125 million people using this, and they didn't want to have, all these people being voted against. But by the time they did that, it was too late. We had that vote entirely, I think. I think anybody smart that believed in that, and there were a lot of people believing it, anybody that was smart voted for Trump. And they pulled the indictment.
that
So
it?
I see people that were indicted, I said, I saved your life. I saved your life. Because if they thought that, they actually thought that I was doing, they said, why is Trump doing it? Is he doing it for political reasons? I don't do anything for political reasons. I do what's right.
Nothing?
I do it. I want to
Wow.
be at the forefront of every industry.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
I'll be working with the Republican Congress to pass the largest tax cuts in American history. And that includes, obviously, we have to extend the Trump tax cuts, which were, until now, the largest. We're going to dramatically cut taxes for families and for workers and for companies, including no tax on tips and hopefully no tax on Social Security and no tax on overtime. And that overtime one is a sleeper because I think a lot of people are going to be spurred on to do a lot of extra work. Some tax cuts will also include 100% expensing for new factory construction in the United States.
I need to build a
and
factory.
anything else that you're going to buy with capital. If you buy something, if you buy something that is
That's actually kind of big.
be good for our country, we're going to let you expense it, 1 year expense. And I did that the first time. And
Damn.
everybody was saying, can you go back to that?
We gotta
Now
build
you
a
still
factory,
get,
yeah.
I guess, 40% or whatever, but you know, pared
Beef
down.
jerky
But
factory?
we're going to bring that right up to the top level. I think that had a lot to do with the success that I had during my first term. I will substantially cut taxes for all domestic producers of oil and gas and just about everything else that they produce. In my first term, I brought the business tax down from around 40% to 21%, which everybody said was an impossible thing to do. I cut it from 40. Actually, was state said it was much higher than 40, but I got it down to 21%, and now I'm bringing it down to a goal of 15%, but only if you make your product in America. In other words, you're going to be at 21%, but if you make your product in America, you're going to go from 21 to 15. If you don't, you're going to be 21%, which is still lower than anything. So guys like Elon are going to come and make his great cars in the United States. A lot of people will. A lot of people are calling. A lot of car companies are calling. They called me. Three of the majors. They called and they said, "We're looking all over the place. We want to be there." I'm going to be announcing tariffs on cars, semiconductors and chips, and pharmaceuticals, drugs and pharmaceuticals. Lumber probably, and some other things over the next month or sooner. And it's going to have a big impact on America. We're bringing our businesses back. If they don't make their product in America, then they very simply have to pay a tariff. But if they do make their product in America, they don't have to pay any tariff. It's all going to bring trillions of dollars into our treasury, or it's going to mean that there won't be any taxes because we won't have a fair base. If they don't have it, we don't have it. If they don't pay, if they don't charge us, we don't charge them. It's pretty simple. The Republican Party is once again the party of common sense. We're a party of common sense. We want strong borders. We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want to have transgender for everybody. We're the party of common sense. That's how we won the election in such a big manner. We'll no longer allow other countries to ransack and plunder our nation. That's why I've announced that we will soon begin imposing reciprocal tariffs on any country that engages in unfair and unequal trading practices. If they tariff us, as I said, we will tariff them the exact same rate. So a certain country, because some of these countries that I've already mentioned are extremely aggressive with tariffs. Nobody knows that. European Union, they have a VAT tax that's devastating.
25%.
People on the outside, hard to sell cars. It would be impossible to sell them because they also have non-monetary tariffs that are very, very tough. But if you take a look at that, it's a very unfair situation. And the VAT tax is similar to the tariff. Around the world, I'm moving quickly to end wars, settle conflicts, and restore the planet to peace. I want peace, and I don't want to see peace. Everybody being killed. And take a look at the death in the Middle East and the death that's taking place between Russia and Ukraine.
Here we go. All right.
We're going to end it. There's no profit for anyone in having World War III, and you're not so far away from it. I'll tell you right now.
Not so far away. Bad.
If we would have had this administration for another year, you would have been in World War III, and now it's not going to happen. In the Middle East, I've restored my policy of maximum pressure on Iran, designed to bring peace.
That's a relief. Yeah.
And we've designated the Houthis a terrorist organization. You know, destroying shipping lanes.
They're from One Piece.
Making it very hard for people to get their product delivered. Making it very difficult, but we'll take care of that situation. And we've secured a ceasefire in Gaza, and we're bringing in the hostages, bringing them home to their families. Some of them are in pretty bad shape, I have to tell you. To end the horrible war in Ukraine, I've spoken with President Zelensky, and our teams began negotiations this week in Saudi Arabia. I want to thank Saudi Arabia for that. That was so great.
Oh, wow. Saudi Arabia.
And I want to thank...
Why does he have a red suit?
In particular, we have so many of the people. Yes, they're Mohammedan people, but in particular, we have to thank Prince Mohammed bin Salman for hosting these historic
soldiers. What case? But think of it, a modestly successful comedian. President Zelensky thought the United States of America
Here
is
we go.
$350 million to go into
Here we go.
basically couldn't be won. That never had to start and never would have started if I was president. Not even a chance. And it didn't start for 4 years.
Nope.
Never would have started. But a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. They'll never settle that war without our involvement. That's why they did such a great job this weekend. That's why Saudi Arabia did such a great job this weekend in hosting it. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe. And Europe's money is guaranteed to get their money back. Nobody knows that. I know that. He said, why isn't somebody saying the same way? We spend much more money. Well, the United States gets nothing back, so they get their money back. It's a loan. We just give our money. And we had a deal.
This is where we're going to steal all their money. Yeah, all the rocks. So we get all the rocks.
$350 million.
That's right. All the shiny rocks.
We're just giving the money hand over fist. It's the Biden administration for you. But they're no longer dealing
They
with
keep
the
the
same
ones that aren't
United
shiny.
States as they were dealing with a few months ago. Why did crooked Joe Biden demand equalization? And that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us, and that there's a very big, beautiful ocean, a separation. This is, we're helping Europe.
This is a lie? No.
On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of
He
the
would
money
never.
that we sent them is missing. They don't know where the money is. He said,
Oh.
I don't know where half of it is. That's very wonderful. He refuses to have elections. Slow in the real Ukrainian vote. And how can you be high when every city is being demolished? It's hard to be high. Somebody said, oh, no, it's false. Every city's being demolished. They look like a demolition site, every single one of them. And the only thing he was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. He played him like a fiddle. To say that he's pretty easy. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Gotta move fast. That war's going in the wrong direction. In the meantime,
Give the whole thing away to Russia.
an end to the
Oh, God.
something all admit that only Trump is going to be able to do in the Trump administration. We're going to be able to do it. I think Putin even admitted that. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace. Zelensky probably wants to. Maybe he wants to get the gravy train going. I don't know what's the problem, but he hasn't been able. He's very upset.
Jesus.
He could have come if he wanted to, but then he wasn't invited to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Years, there's never been even meetings, phone calls to stop this war. It's a horrible thing. I figure Russia's lost 900,000 soldiers. I think that Ukraine's lost probably 700,000.
Damn.
It's a terrible thing. You'll see bodies and body parts all over the field. All over. We'll see it now. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions of people have unnecessarily died. And you can't bring a war to an end if you don't talk to both sides. You got to talk. They haven't been talking for 3 years. So we hope to see a ceasefire soon and to reestablish stability in Europe. Thank you very much. And as I've said before,
absolutely a quantum leap. One day very soon our country will have the greatest economy in the history of the world.
Wow.
We once again have a president who puts America first, and we put America first, and your country should put your country first. But in the end, we want America first, and when it's all beautiful, which is going to be pretty soon, we want to help other countries, and you want to help other countries. But, you know, I tell your leaders, and some of the leaders are in this room right now, you got to put your country first. Whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's something else, you got to put your country first. But we're going to have plenty left over to help others also. As long as you invest in America, build in America, and hire in America, that means that I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting very hard for you. Together we're going to make the United States of America bigger, better, bolder, richer, and greater than ever before. It's going to be stronger than ever before. We're going to be a peacemaker and a peacekeeper. We're going to stop people from these stupid, never-ending wars. We're not going to partake in them ourselves, but we'll be stronger and more powerful than anybody by far. And if it ever came to war, nobody will be able to come close to us. But we don't think that's going to ever happen. So I want to thank you all very much. It's a great honor to be here. And I think somebody said they're going to ask questions. And I didn't say, gee, what are the questions like Biden does? I say,
Oh, here we go. This is the good part.
question and I give an answer.
This is
So I
the
think
question
you're
part.
gonna come up and you're going to give me some questions. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna be honest, Mike. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Please, a round of applause for President of the United States of America. Thank you. Oh. Make crime illegal. Mr. President, thank you for accepting to take questions. 20 years ago, I don't know if you will remember, we were under the same roof in Orlando and you were delivering an amazing speech in front of 3,000 sales reps, giving them the best advice to be successful. So what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received? Wow.
Well, I think it was watching my father. You know, my father was a very hard worker, and he just worked too hard. And he was very smart. Good genetics. His brother was the longest-serving professor of the history of MIT, Dr. John Trump. And my father was every bit as smart. My father had to work. He was older, but his brother through school. Like he once said, boy, I went through so much school. He had 3 different degrees. And they asked him to stay on at MIT, but my father was the same. So I noticed that my father was a happy man. And one of the things he worked, he just worked all the time. He worked. And he loved it. And really, I think the best piece of advice I got from that is you have to love what you do. And if you love what you do, you're going to have a happy life. If you don't, I mean, I see so many people that are in businesses that they don't want to be in.
Think about depressed streamers.
They're bored in, or they're not good at it. They don't have a natural ability at it. There is such
Play video games for a living, you're
whether
sad.
it's sports or acting or anything else. Some people have an ability to something. Try and find that ability. But you have to love what you do. If you love
Right.
what you do, you're going to be, at least you have a good chance of being successful.
Mr. President, it's almost time for an early dinner. So if you are throwing a dinner party and you can invite 3 fascinating guests, living or dead, who would you bring?
on by the media and overall was Andrew Jackson. Not his wife died of heart brain. They were treated with Abraham Lincoln was second, but he had a Civil War.
I think they did treat Abraham Lincoln bad.
Nobody was treated like me.
Because, like,
And
remember, like, because of what happened?
he wrote a lot about himself.
Yeah.
But there's nothing I'd rather do. I had to make a decision. Do I do this? Because if I lost, it would have been very, very
Yeah.
bad. It was dangerous, actually, very dangerous. And so many
They got shot, yeah.
And I decided to do it. And I said, I have to win. If I don't, I spoke to a friend of mine the other night. You lost it. It was actually Sean Hannity just before we did the interview last night. He said, boy, if you would have lost, it would have had a life. So it was a certain amount of courage involved in this decision to run. It's a great honor to win by this much, to win all 7 swing states, the popular vote doesn't get one that much money. So I think that's changing, because again, with the party of common sense and the party of real bad things, and I think they'll change. I think they have to change. It would be wonderful. I'm going to be having lunch with some of the Democrats next.
He's gonna help them out. Yeah.
But they have to change. You can't get elected on programs that they want. That's really what America wants to see. So there's nothing I'd rather do than what I'm doing.
When we started this conference, Mr. President, when we started this conference, yes, sir, and this one hand at the conference told us
Another plane crash.
where people will come, understand
It's a lot of DEI.
where to invest in terms of geographies and sectors. So, what is the best investment you have made in your personal growth, sir?
Well, I was involved in real estate most of my life. And, guys like Woodcock will tell you I was really good at it. And I was successful at it, very successful at it. I've been involved in things prior to being president, but during the last 4 years,
Yeah.
I followed sort of the trends, and I've made a lot of money with following some of these trends. And, it's, again, it's something that you do. I really believe that some people have an instinct. I think I've always had an instinct for making money. I make money. And I went into show business. I had one of the most successful shows on television. I wrote books, and they were all bestsellers. Virtually every book was a big bestseller.
Wow. Wow.
Whatever I do, I just want to make it successful. It's very important. There are many ways to make money. You can be in many different fields. And a lot of them is being in the right country. If you're in a certain country, our country is actually getting very bad, very dangerous place. Actually, bad things are happening. But if you're in a certain country, you have a chance to do well. No matter how good you are, if you were born into the wrong country, you're not going to make money. Now, you can do other things. You can attain power, I guess. Maybe it's the wrong kind of power, but it's power. But being in the right country, where you have the right incentives, entrepreneurship, etc. America has always been sort of at the top, or one of the top, but always pretty much at the top. But it's losing that position, and I think losing it rapidly in this last administration. Look, I don't want to be. I wish I could say I wouldn't have run if I thought Biden was doing a good job. If I thought they would, I wouldn't have run. Because as I said, it was very dangerous to run in a lot of ways. In fact, my ear will show that when you look at it closely. My ear, I had that throbbing feeling every once in a while, but it was dangerous in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I would say so.
It was so bad, I had no choice but to do it. If I thought he was doing a great job, I would have run, and I would be very happy. I actually wanted him to do a good job. I was saying, do this.
Really?
And I'm telling
Wow.
them things. They should have done what I said.
That's so reasonable.
But I would have been very happy not to have run, and frankly, to have seen somebody do a good job.
Damn.
Go to hell. And I really sort of had to.
If you were a historical ruler,
Vill du skapa en egen hemsida men tycker att det känns svårt? Med Strato blir dina idéer verklighet utan ovanlighetskrångel. Ont om tid. Våra smarta AI-verktyg fixar texter, bilder och design åt dig så att din hemsida kan publiceras online på kort tid. Hos Strato har du allt du behöver för din webbplats, inklusive egen domän och e-post. Kom igång idag för 0 kronor första året. Läs mer på strato.se. Strato. Tänk och gjort.
would you prefer to rule during war?
What makes you sleepy? I thought I had slept enough, but apparently I haven't. I drink coffee, I guess.
are so bad for you?
Oh, drugs are all right, all right. There we go.
My last question, Mr. President. You have mentioned briefly in your speech
That'll do it.